Hey everyone, what's up and welcome to the Hollywood Hubbies Film Club.
Hello, everyone.
This is the intro episode to our very first podcast together. My name is Brandon Ferruccio and this is my husband,
Jeffrey Ferruccio.
And we are the proclaimed Hollywood Hubbies.
I like that.
Right? We're based in Los Angeles. We've been married for 10 years now.
Mhm.
And
What's our anniversary?
May, hold on, 23rd?
Good job.
Okay, cool. There's always one person in the relationship that's bad with the dates. We are very involved with theater, movies, art in general. We decided that we were going to make this podcast based off of the attention that my husband Jeffrey's Instagram was getting. He has an
little attention, but
some attention. Yeah, it'll just keep growing from here. But basically, he posts musical clips, sometimes movie musical clips, sometimes live performances, and it's just something that really turned into a hobby of his.
Yeah, it started. Just had a song stuck in my head, and I decided to post a little 30 seconds of it, and I got a few likes, and I was like, that's fun. Let me post a song of the day every day. And it usually is either from a classic film or a live performance.
You try to pick some pretty good, obscure stuff, too.
Sometimes slime tutorials, if you know, you know. I try to keep it somewhat vintage, but, doesn't always happen. But even the clips that I post that are newer, sometimes the era of the musical is older. So I don't know. I always like something a little bit more classic or period.
We really wanted to create a podcast, and we didn't really know which direction to go at first. But, Jeffrey had this idea of why not start with movie musicals that are pretty accessible to people, and we could kick off something similar to a book club. And it's not like we invented a film club, okay? But, he was like, why don't we start something that's, accessible to people. We
were trying to figure out where to start. And I was like, oh, don't they have those AFI lists that are, the 100 Hollywood actresses, Hollywood actors, best 100 movies. And then I remember that they had the 25 movie musicals. And I, thought, okay, then that's a good place to start, because if they're the top 25, then they're going to be pretty well known.
Before we dive into our first movie, a little bit about us. I come from a bit of a theater arts background in regards to, going to drama class when I was in high school. And then, when I shifted into college, I explored writing, directing. I'm very much involved in the community theater world out here in the LA County and Orange County. I very much try to be involved with nonprofit organizations, stage readings. I mean, kind of you name it, I really just get my hands on in regards to theater. It's not my career. It's definitely my hobby.
One day.
Yeah, you never know, right? And then in regards to when I first started dating Jeffrey, the very first date that we had, we started to talk about musicals.
Mm-hmm.
I know the very first musical he had brought up was The Phantom of the Opera.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that is probably the first actual stage musical that I fell in love with. I was lucky that my elementary school, 2 different teachers were very into the arts. My 3rd grade teacher played the piano, and she must have been a huge Phantom of the Opera fan, because she had books and different things of the Andrew Lloyd Webber production, and she would play the piano and we would all learn the songs, and that started my love for that musical. And then in 6th grade, I had another teacher who had VHS tapes. Yes, VHS. I am aging myself. And you could rent them for $0.25. And she had all the classics. They were all classic musicals, anything you could think of. And I just know that the ones that really stuck out to me that I loved were The Sound of Music and Meet Me in St. Louis. I loved both of those so much. Julie Andrews, Judy Garland. I mean, can you get any better than that? Funny story, side note. Years before I had that teacher, probably around third grade, when my dad realized that I liked musicals, he had rented me a copy of The Sound of Music. And I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the cover of the VHS or what, but like it was not sparkly and glamorous. It was it just looked like a lady in an apron on a hill, and I had no interest in watching it, and I did not watch it. And then years later, I had my teacher in sixth grade who I rented that movie, and I was like, oh my gosh, this movie is amazing. I love the music. And he will never let me live that down. That he tried to get me to watch that movie, and I refused.
Yeah,
So
I mean, hey, it's all about how to market something.
maybe
And
the
you're
cover
right.
should have been better. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, I was never the biggest fan of Sound of Music, but
Well, what were some of your favorite musicals growing up?
I definitely was more of I watched Cabaret way too young and was singing songs around the house,
That you shouldn't have
that I
been?
should not have been. And Little Shop was Little Shop of Horrors was definitely a musical that I was obsessed with when I was younger. But yeah, Cabaret, Little Shop of Horrors.
Those are good ones to start with.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I know we'll deep dive into
Yeah.
other things. It's interesting though. I have not directed any musicals on stage. I've definitely
Hmm.
directed many dramas, thrillers, but I haven't really directed any musicals.
Hmm.
I also like to be very in control, and I'm not sure having like a music director and a choreographer. I don't know how I would feel about all of that, but I
Gotta
probably,
try it.
I guess
Start
so.
start small. Do like the last 5 years. You could have two people.
Yeah, maybe. And that is tragic. I'm pretty into,
Yeah.
give me a relationship that's, on the rocks, or a
Hmm.
dysfunctional family. I mean,
And you're
I'm
there.
I'm all here for plays and musicals
But
about
even
that.
like the plays that you've directed, I mean, not all of them, but you do kind of veer towards the more classic period
Yes.
drama.
Yes.
And there have been a few that are either they were a play and it got made into a film, or it was a film and it got turned into a play, different things like that. So
Yeah, like,
that,
well, one of your favorite movies, which is All About Eve.
mhm,
I of course loved that movie as well, but you knew like every word to it when we first started dating.
love
I
that
was like,
movie.
okay, so this
Love Betty
guy's,
Davis.
yeah, this guy's like really a Betty Davis fan. But
Hmm.
yeah, All About Eve was a stage play called The Wisdom of Eve, and I directed that. I direct
Another Betty Davis.
Old Old Acquaintance was another Betty
Hmm.
Davis play that you found for me. You just find plays for me and I'll direct them.
No, I
Wow.
because you're a director, I go, okay, I love this movie. Have they ever made it into a play? Hey, boo, maybe you should read this. And then sometimes you come back and
Yeah.
say that was terrible, or you say, oh, I kind of like it.
That's good to
So,
have inspiration like that,
but yeah,
But that's something that obviously it brought us together. And when we
mhm,
first started dating, that was just something that we
yeah,
loved. We loved watching classic movies together.
yeah. Because I mean, we're starting on this podcast with musicals. We're going to try to do the top 25 musicals, but we are going to talk about classic films and classic Hollywood as well. And some of my faves off the top of my head, obviously, All About Eve. I love The Women. That is an amazing movie. Norma Shearer, Joan Crawford, Rosalind Russell. I mean, everybody in that movie is a name. A Letter to Three Wives. I mean, that movie is perfect in my eyes.
I think it
As a
is.
drama, as a comedy, as like so many great lines. The cast is amazing. It is like the perfect
It is pretty perfect. I'm not gonna lie.
movie.
I agree with you on that. I think that A Letter to Three Wives is a movie that's not often brought up,
Hmm.
actually.
Kind of sucks that we have to go through 25 movies before we can talk about it, but we'll get there. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. 25 movie musicals. But yeah,
I shouldn't say it like that. I want to talk about the musicals, obviously, but
yeah, and I think that well, it'll be good for people listening to know that even our genres, there are certain genres that we both like that spill into each other, of course. But I'm usually going after a thriller or a drama or something dysfunctional in regards to that type of a movie. I heavily am inspired by writing. Uh, Great writing for female characters, um, and even cinematography. I mean, those are a lot of things that jump out to me when I'm watching something. And I know, we have some things that spill over, but me introducing you into things that are like the world of David Lynch, which of course, you had seen Mulholland Drive, of course, but
wild.
Yeah,
that's a wild ride.
But there are certain things like sitting down and watching things together and having those moments shared with each other. I'm sure a lot of people can relate that, couples that are together, they don't always love the same things. I mean, but in regards to your genre and what you gravitate towards, I mean, you do love happy endings. You do love characters, being vindicated at the end. And
that's what I was going to say too, is that like when it comes to movies that you watch that make you cry, it's usually like pain or anger or something very tragic that makes you tear up. Whereas me, I cry for like a happy ending or a
what do they call
something
them? Like a Hallmark moment? Don't people call them that?
Yeah, those kind of things, like super random off the top of my head. Coco, when he sings the song to Mama Coco, I was inconsolable.
Is it Mama Coco or Grandma?
No, it's Mama
Coco. Okay,
Mama Coco. Don't.
Oh no! I just you know Coco.
Don't correct me.
But yeah, as we were saying, like even like rom-coms, like you made me watch all the Bridget Jones Diaries movies. I mean, I'm not going out of my way to do that, but you can find good moments in these things.
You like Hugh Grant?
I do. And this last one that we watched, this number 4, that
it was amazing.
It was really good. Like I gotta say, like I think the writing, like they stepped up the writing behind it. And
well, the first one was definitely more clever comedy and drama, and then the second and third one, even though I loved them, they definitely got more silly. There was a lot more silly, like what can we get?
Yeah.
What silly situation can we get Bridget in?
Totally.
And she's kind of clueless sometimes. Sometimes you're like, okay, girl, you're not that spacey.
Now knowing a little bit about like just kind of the genres that we like, pulling that back to this top 25 AFI movie musicals. I mean, it's a good spread because
the years are very spread out.
All over the place.
The types of musicals are spread out.
Very different types of musicals. I mean, easily understandable that a lot of these, of course, were the what do you call it? The golden era of Hollywood.
But we knew we didn't want to start from like the bottom and work our way up, or start from the top and work our way down. So we decided that we wanted to choose one to go off of, and then starting from that, randomly shuffle the rest of them, and then each week it's going to be a different one on the list.
Yeah, so I think that is the best way to do this, because we do want people to be able to have the opportunity to watch the films before listening to the podcast. That way it's actually like a real film club. So we will, at the end of every episode, do our little app scrambler, and it'll choose.
It'll shuffle the names.
Yeah, it'll shuffle the names.
So what's going to be next? But should we at least say like what the first episode's
absolutely? I think diving into this first episode makes the most sense. So go ahead and announce it.
Okay. Well, we decided that with this last year, with how popular Wicked was, that it was only appropriate to have the first episode of our podcast be The Wizard of Oz.
So
I feel good about that.
Yeah, I feel good, because I hope that a lot of people have seen this movie. I'm assuming that
it's if you haven't seen it, you know it.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was looking for. If you do not know the film, you know characters, you know
Artwork.
Ruby Slippers,
Hmm.
Yellow Brick Road. I mean, so yes, it is definitely a very
It's iconic. It's well known. It's I was almost thinking about it. I mean, we shouldn't go too much into it where we can go like we can talk about it more on the episode, but I was thinking about how it's crazy to me that like a movie from 1939 is still so popular in pop culture that people are wearing it like hip trendy merch like a hoodie or a hat or you know it's like that's really cool if you think about it. The movie's
yeah
85 years old, 86 years old, and it's still
yeah
like it's still in pop culture,
yeah. If
very
you remove
planted in pop culture.
if you removed Wicked from
Hmm.
this, it still would be living on
Hmm.
to this day. But yes, Wicked helps, of course, the lore of this
Well, because
world
then
of
if
Oz.
you've only seen Wicked, you're gonna go, okay, well, what are these characters based off of? Now I want to go see the movie that all these references are coming from.
Absolutely.
So it's like they go hand in
Yeah.
hand with a lot of younger uh, musical
Yeah.
fans. So it's
Absolutely.
really cool.
Well, we hope everyone, is along for this ride with us. We're definitely learning as we go.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
especially,
Was this a little rambly?
you know what, we're gonna not know until we start getting feedback from people. We
Like,
definitely,
shut up.
right.
Go back to the plot.
Our goal
Why are
though
you
is,
talking about your third grade teacher, you weirdo?
yeah, right.
Because I
um,
loved her.
but really, the goal of this is we are going to really make this effort to get through these 25 movies this year.
Yes.
And we think it'll be fun for everyone.
Hmm.
So we hope you guys enjoy this.
And, one other thing I really wanted to say going into this podcast is, we're definitely not film historians. Like, it's
Right.
not something that, like, I went to school for to,
Right.
like, learn about, how films are made and cinematography and all of that. It really just comes from our love of classic films, musical theater, musical films. And, in saying that, a lot of what we're talking about when it comes to the plots and stuff is just how it made us feel and what we took out of it. And that may not necessarily be what the author or the director really wanted, but art is subjective, and what I get from a film could be completely different than what you get from a film. This
Yeah.
happens to us all the time. We'll watch a movie and we'll talk about a scene and I'll be like, "Oh my god, well, I thought that, I thought she was paranoid, and I thought it was, she was in her head about stuff," and you're like, "Oh no, I thought it was really happening." Different things like that. You just there everyone's going to see something a little bit different.
Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, I think that's more of the idea of a book club or a film club. Like, you're there to
It's not a
really just
class or
exactly. That's the last thing we want to make this, is to make it like a film class. We are,
not to say
yeah,
that we don't love a good book about history or stuff like
yeah,
that,
of
but it's not,
course.
I don't think that I'm equipped to be a
Right.
film
This is not
historian.
film. This is not Intro to Film 101.
Yeah.
No, but I think that's good that we say that, because yeah, we're not experts at this. This is literally to
Yeah.
have a good
If
time
we
and,
miss
and review
something,
these things and
yeah. If we miss something, leave a comment. If you know, want to also add something to the conversation, leave a comment. I
that
love hearing stuff like
that
that.
would be so awesome, actually, if people start reacting and commenting on the episode, but adding their reasons why they like this, or
Hmm.
the cinematography also jumped out to them about this, or why didn't the director do this with the character. That would be
Or
really,
even
really
like,
cool.
you didn't touch on this. Did you notice this? Let me know. Maybe I didn't notice it. I'm one of those people. I will go back and I'll put the movie back on and I'll go look, because I love Easter eggs and I love looking at it from a different lens. I love all of that stuff. I want to know like what you got out of a film as much as what I got out of it, because it could seriously make me want to go watch it again. I'm that person. I will watch it over.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just a little a little preface
No, that's good. I
to
think
the film club,
I definitely think
which we definitely invented.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We have to be the first people that ever did it.
So,
yeah. Stay tuned for our next episode, which will actually be episode one, where we will be chatting about the Wizard of Oz.
Awesome. I'm excited.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.